Hey everyone, here we are on day 2 of our I Am Fabulous protocol. We've all been putting on the oils for a couple of days now. Hopefully you've had a chance to put your oils on this morning. I've been reading in the comments, some of you are saying you smell great, you feel fabulous already, and that's awesome. Just keep sharing those comments. Because it'll encourage everyone else to pop in with their comments. A reminder that this is a group effort. We're all here for each other. If you feel comfortable in the space that we've created here to share, it can be wonderful to get some confirmation that other people are going through the same things as you are. And if you don't want to share publicly in our group, feel free to private message me or give me a phone call, whatever. I'm here for you. I am holding space for all of us here and trying to make the most of this time together. So here we are, day 2, and we've been doing some of the affirmations. We've started with Melaleuca and oregano now. And what is happening here is some of you may have noticed that with all the clutter clearing that we've been doing, that things are coming up. So we may have come across something that was a reminder for something that made us upset or frustrated. Just putting the oils on themselves, we might be coming up with emotions of anxiety or worry about an event. And that's perfectly normal. It just means that we're starting to go a little bit deeper into things that we may have been pushing down. Sometimes we react to something and we'll deal with it on a superficial level, and then we'll just put it away because it's not the time, it's not the place, we don't want to deal with it because it's not comfortable. So we do tend to push our emotions down, and we all know that emotions are like a helium balloon. They just keep rising up when we least expect them to, and there they are. They're the elephant in the room. And this 2-week protocol is a wonderful opportunity for us to deal with these emotions in a really healthy way, in a supportive way that we can all help each other. Okay, so and this exercise that we're going to be doing to help with releasing emotions, there's many different ways of doing it. I'm a Reiki practitioner, so I find that when I give myself Reiki every morning, I'll just give Reiki to myself over my heart space. And it's a wonderful way of releasing anything that no longer serves me. So if you have any Reiki training, feel free to give yourself Reiki and honor yourself that way. I'm going to be putting a link to a wonderful video that's about a 24-minute meditation. For those of you to whom meditation is a really wonderful way of dealing with things and it resonates with you, I encourage you to try the meditation. It's really lovely. And then there's also an exercise that I'm going to describe now called brain dumping. And it's important, as I said, we process these things, our emotions, and they end up in our head, and then that's where all the worry and the ego starts working with them. So this exercise is a great way of dealing with our thoughts and helping deal with them. And the way I like to think of this is it's a perfectly natural response for all of this stuff to come bubbling up. And I like to use the analogy of a body of water, whether it's a pond or a still lake, and there's a lot of stuff in there, and on the surface it appears to be very calm and very still and beautiful. And you look down and there's a few big rocks in there. So we have a pond, and I'll use that example. So I look down and there's a few big rocks in there, or a branch that fell from a tree. So I'm going to reach down and pull out the big stuff first because it's the easiest to deal with. And when I do that, the water gets all mucky, and eventually the water will clear and it looks beautiful and still again. But when I look down, I go, oh, I missed some gravel. I missed one of Luna's dog toys, whatever. And you go in again and you deal with something that was a little bit not as obvious, but things that you'd missed the first time around. And so on, and until you look down and you don't really see anything obvious there, it's back to stillness on the water. And that's a great way to deal with things. Do the easier things, the big things that come up. If you don't feel like you don't have the strength to pull that great big rock out of the pond, deal with the little stuff first. Whatever you're comfortable with. The thing is to start working on the little things, start working on whatever you feel comfortable with. And as we go through this protocol, you can come back to these exercises and meditation and Reiki and find that you are ready to deal with some of these things. So an example of the brain dumping is there are many times that we react to something and situations make us feel like something. And I'll use the example. I had a phone call with somebody yesterday, and after speaking with her, I hung up and I was really annoyed. And I thought about it. I go, okay, so why am I annoyed? It wasn't necessarily because of things that we had talked about on the phone. It was something in our conversation that triggered and reminded me of previous things that I'd been upset with her about. And it was just a reminder again. So I'll be using that as an example. So what I'd like you to do is get a sheet of paper and think of something or someone who has made you feel an emotion that you're not comfortable with, that made you angry, frustrated, worried, anxious, whatever it is. And write the name of the person who that has happened with. And then I'd like you to write down, how do I feel? So I would write down this person's name, and then I would say, I felt ticked off. And when I spoke with this person, because she made me feel like this, so she made me feel annoyed, and I couldn't really understand why. And then you want to go a little bit deeper and, okay, so why did you feel annoyed? Why did you react that way? And I realized that it was something else. So because it triggered a memory of other things. So then I realized, okay, so I was annoyed after speaking with her yesterday because I realized that I'm really annoyed with her because of, and then I wrote down that as well. And you can do this with anything, whether it's a situation at work or something with your friends. If it's something with yourself, let's say you went out for lunch or for dinner and you went for the dessert, even though you've been trying to watch what you eat. And, we knock ourselves like, oh my gosh, why did I have that glass of wine with my dinner? Why did I have that dessert when I went out for lunch with the girls? So write down, I'm upset with myself. Why are you upset? I feel guilty because I ate something I shouldn't have. And then really explore that a little bit more. So maybe you feel guilty because this is a feeling that's been imposed on you by other people. Julie, you are gaining some weight. You shouldn't have had that. So you're hearing other voices telling you that what you did was wrong. So address all of that. So think about the first one or two people, things that you'd like to deal with, to dump with our brain dump exercise, and write that down on a sheet of paper. And then the next thing is going to be how we get rid of them. So what you'll do next is, after you've written down those things on a sheet of paper, the name of the person, how you felt, explore a little bit deeper about why you felt the way you did. And if you can't, that's fine. Just work with those two items at first. And then I'd like to close your eyes and meditate on being in a happy place, whether that's out in nature. For me, being out in the water or in the woods is my happy place. And then, or it can be with people who you love. And then just feel those calm feelings over you, and then imagine a large black garbage bag in front of you. And what I'd like you to do is imagine yourself taking that sheet of paper and putting it into the garbage bag. And if you've done a few lists, put all those things into the garbage bag. Where they're going to go. They're going to go out to the curb. Sometimes I encourage people to actually write things down on a sheet of paper, and then you can burn them in a little ritual, and that can also be a very good way of doing it. But doing it in a visualization is very practical, especially if you don't have a way of burning little sheets of paper in the middle of the winter. So you're going to put all these things into the garbage bag. And then it's important to release those items that you've written down, and to do that with forgiveness. You need to forgive the person who has slighted you, who you perceive to have hurt you or made you feel the way you do. And forgiveness is a very, very important part of releasing those unhealthy emotions that we're trying to let go of. So some of you may know the Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. I'll have a link to that below as well. So let go of those things, and then you can close up that garbage bag and get rid of it, or write down those things on a sheet of paper and offer a prayer of forgiveness. And you can burn those little pieces of paper. For those of you who would feel comfortable saying, I love you and release you in the name of God or Jesus or any deity that you feel would really resonate with this for you. Whatever works for you, feel safe to release those things, because that's the important thing. We're doing these oils, we're doing affirmations, we're doing exercise that are going to help process emotions and things that we really don't need to hang on to anymore. And we clear away all of that stuff. We're going to be like that pond, like that body of water, that when we look down, we're going to not see any big obvious things that are going to cloud the water. And it's just going to make things a lot more fun as we progress through the next 12 days after today. So enjoy, share your comments below if you've done any of these exercises, be it the Reiki or the meditation or the brain dumping exercise. Do feel free to share what you've come up with and how you feel, or just private message me if you want to. And happy healing. This is going to be great. All right.